Hello, I'm Robert of Deadartstudios, and this is Painting with Deadartstudios, and welcome back. We're painting the volcano scene here, which I'm doing in acrylic on canvas, and in the last video we got sort of midway through and had done some of the rocks on the front, and in this video we're at the end of the process now, and we're going to be doing some of the sky and then some of the mist. And sort of the question of the video is, did I go too far with the mist and the sky, and did I overdevelop the sort of painting, or should I have left it around this point where it is now? And I kind of think I probably should have left it around this point where I am now, but we'll see as we go on, and I hope you're doing well. I have a cup of cocoa here, and just have a sip. And I've been having a great day today on a Sunday. Some of the families come to visit, my niece and my mum and dad, and we've been all out together and having a good old time. And then I did want to paint tonight, but my 4-year-old daughter has decided to cause a minor scene upon bedtime, so we're just going to do the video instead, and painting shall wait till tomorrow, which is fine. And I've been enjoying my painting a lot recently, and I think we've been making some progress with it, which is good too. So in this painting, I'm using golden acrylics. That's just the brand that I use, and I do have some mediums, gloss medium and a modelling medium, which I used down on the foreground of this. But in this here, I'm just using some yellows, cadmium yellow mixed with probably a bit of titanium white, and just brightening up the sky at the front there to try and create a bit more colour contrast in this yellowy grey sky that I've painted. And so I'm just using a sort of medium sized flat brush and going sort of left to right. It might be a filbert brush, it's hard to tell from here. I think it might be, but anyway, so we're doing the sky, and I have just started a new volcano painting. This is a study that I'm doing right here for a series of volcano-based, inspired paintings I wanted to do, and I've just started one on birch panel, which I like because it doesn't. It does have texture on the panel, but not a canvas texture, obviously. And the canvas texture didn't, I think, work so well with the smoke. A smoother surface, I thought, would do well for that, and I've been working on that. But I've also been adding some geometric elements and things to that, and that'll be in the next video. So that'll be interesting to see, although I haven't recorded some of the more recent stuff I do on it, because, I do my painting, and then I'll leave it out to look at it, and I'll sort of roam around the house doing my daily chores, and look at the painting, and I'll get ideas, and then sometimes I just start them straight away, and I was supposed to be cleaning all the lampshades in the house on Friday, because they're dust magnets, and I ended up doing painting in instead anyway, instead of cleaning, but there you go. They're still dusty, and I'll clean them soon. So in the painting here now, I'm starting to add some sort of, the idea being the source of light is up to the top left there, and would it be, it's hard to say, would it be top right coming down? I think it's probably top left, and I'm sort of putting some rays which will raise through the smoke of the volcano, because you'd sort of get this thin overall smoke everywhere, and there'd sort of be a sun just shining through on the top, some breaking clouds with that weird yellow that obviously isn't realistic colour, but for me sort of represents the moody volcano scene with the grey as well. And that a lot of this painting, well, all of it really is just aesthetics in terms of coming from my mind and how I feel, and it's just a little bit of an expression, but based on the idea of a volcanic scene, and the foreground is quite a sort of attempt at, what you'd call in the standard painting. It's like one. It's not obviously hyper-realism, but it is an attempt at a mountain scene. And then I'm doing the rays of light coming down. Now this is where I think I take it too far, and maybe shouldn't have started them at all and just left it as clear. There could have been a wind blowing through and there'd be no smoke around. It could have been off all in one direction and not on here. But when I started them, I was enjoying it, and I think what happened was I was enjoying it so much I just carried on, and then I kind of looked at it the next morning and thought, I'm not sure I'm happy with this. But that's the point, I suppose, of doing a study and practicing painting, and not everything's gonna be a final working piece that you might want to sell or something like that. So, or exhibit. So, it's part of the process. And that's interesting, actually, because painting is a hobby or a profession where you I suppose there's people who paint and then just put their paintings away and nobody ever sees them again, and they just do it for the fun of it. But it's something almost like a show, isn't it? Like a performance in a way, like theatre or dancing. There is a performance element at the end in that you are not supposed to, but do often exhibit the painting or try and professionally sell the painting. So there's a bit where the public see it and respond to it, much like they'd see and respond to dance or a ballet or an opera, and they're supposed to gain some kind of, I suppose, fundamentally overall pleasure and enjoyment from seeing it. But then obviously as art's developed, then that's become part of what art has tried to do, is to test that and twist it and more create, I suppose, to emote you in some way or another, rather than just make you happy. Although I'm pretty fine with art just making you happy. I'm also fine with it doing other things, and actually some of the paintings I do are pretty weird and crazy, so it makes me happy to paint them, and I think people are happy to look at them because they're like, what's that weird crazy stuff this guy's doing? I'm not necessarily trying to pull up weird dark emotions and traumas and things like that. It's more just what's happening in my mind at the time. I'm not really setting out on any mission to do anything like that. So painting is a kind of, in a way, has that end point, and so I do something like this, and then I look at it and I'm like, well, could I sell this one? Could I exhibit it? And maybe as part of a little exhibition, if you had something like that, you could exhibit it and say, well, here's the process and the studies that lead to these other pieces, so. But then I suppose the interesting bit with the volcano one I've done at the minute is some parts of it, the bits where I'm looking at it when I'm meant to be cleaning the house and then go and start painting it, it'll just come out of nowhere. And you could argue that spontaneity is sort of like breaking the rules a little bit. It's like, well, why have you gone to the trouble of doing these studies and painting and then do something completely different? Excuse me, the upper respiratory illnesses continue to plague us over here in the UK, at least, and probably everywhere else in the world, but we're getting a good dose of it this year. So yeah, it's a difficult one when you're painting, because if you just paint loads of paintings and just put them, in your attic and pile them all up, then in some ways it kind of contradicts the fundamental point of it, doesn't it? I know people, I'm sure, make paintings and just pile them up away and never show them to anybody. That's totally cool. I understand that. But I suppose for me, I do really want to sell my work, and this one I don't think is really saleable for various reasons of just the overall painting. I'm not sure people necessarily want to buy it, but maybe somebody would. But then just, some of the finishing stuff's a bit off in places, and it's not super professional. Now here I'm adding some cloudy smoke to the right hand side that sort of supposed to blend off of the dark smoke on the right hand side of the volcanic eruption there. And this bit went alright, and I could have spent more time doing that. And I think, some of these rays, through the sort of cloudy rays that I've got on the left there, looking at them here, they're a little bit wonky and off. I'm not sure. I just left a couple close to the ground. Could have almost been like smoking geysers, and that would have been kind of cool. But then I just went too far with it, and I think the smoke on the right here worked quite well. But then I was dry brushing the acrylic paint on to create the cloud effect, which, as far as I'm concerned, is the easiest way to create this sort of cloudy effect. If you do a wetter technique, then it doesn't really have the fluffy look that I was going for. I don't know, maybe you can get it fine with a wet technique if you spend time and doing it a different way. But anyway, I'm sort of dry brushing it on and pushing it around, and then with the canvas it sort of clogs into it. I suppose it's a matter of thinness, of how thin you put the paint on, and how little that you put on. But I like, from this, looking at it on the computer screen here, it's sort of it's a decent effect. I think it looks fine. I think it's composed well. But then when you really look at it on the canvas, it just looks a bit off. Not super pro. But I think that's another problem with painting. When you're doing the painting yourself, you sort of really hyper analyze it. Like, I'm looking at, if you imagine the grain of canvas almost being like pixels, I'm looking at like individual pixels of the painting of the canvas and sort of being like, oh, that looks a bit wrong. I'm not sure anybody else would know what on earth you're talking about. But anyway, so I'm just carrying on doing that, and this bit works quite well. And in some ways, I wish I'd just kind of done this smoky bit, and maybe done the blending a little bit more gently, a little bit more slowly, and not had those little rays. I think that's the beginning of the end for me loving this painting. And ultimately I got what I wanted out of it, and when I started my next painting on the birch panel, I had it in front of me and used it as reference in terms of it bringing back all the things I'd sort of learned, even if I wasn't going to copy it. It was like a do this, don't do this kind of reminder on what to do. And the colour palette I've kept, and the general ideas I've kept. And if you're interested in seeing that, then that will be the next video. And I make quite a lot of progress on the early parts of that painting, so tune in if you fancy. It shouldn't be too long before it's up. A week or less is what I'm going for with my long format videos, and trying to get most days a short format video up. Not managed that today, but that's fine. I'm not sure YouTube likes you uploading all the time like that. It's easy. It's maybe a bit spammy, I don't know. TikTok, on the other hand, wants you uploading as much as you can, really, I think. But anyway, it's not happened today, and that's cool. I'm not too fussed about that. And we're playing the long game here in the world of becoming an accomplished painter, and we don't want to burn out in January of 2024. So nice and easy. But yeah, that video will be coming, and if you're interested, please watch. If you guys have been watching, I don't really know how long you've been watching, but if you have been watching these videos and listening to me and staying till near the end or through a chunk of it, then thank you. It does mean something to me. It's certainly pleasing to know that I might be able to provide some kind of entertainment or interest in whatever form you might be taking it from the video, even if it's amusement at my painting or whatever, whatever works for you, I guess. I'm swirling more smoking, and I hope if you are watching that everything is going well for you, and if you'd like to leave a comment below, that'd be really nice, and I'd reply and say hi. At least despite deciding to make videos where I'm talking for a long time, I'm not necessarily the most super confident of people in the comment section. I suppose the comment section can sometimes be seen as a scary place, can't it? For various reasons, and so I tend to just stay away, but I will say hi and I will reply to any comments that you leave on this, and that'd be great. We have how many subscribers now? 21. From 0, I'm happy. And given the style of the videos, where it's just, me chit-chatting about painting and life, and me painting on my kitchen table, there's not a high production value to it, and don't really want there to be. I just want it to be real life, So, if it's a slow start, that's fine. And even if it's a slow end, that's fine too. So I'm just trying to blend in a bit more, and I have got quite a lot of other clips of this painting from sort of post last video, mid painting through like hours of footage, and I decided basically just to skip to the last 2 clips that I had so that we can keep moving forward. But I did want to give anybody who'd stop by and watch the videos a resolution to this painting, because a lot of the paintings I'm doing are ongoing works that take ages to finish, and I did just finish a small oil yesterday, just randomly decided to call it finished, and I didn't film that one, but I had filmed earlier sections, I think. I don't know if I have actually talked about that one on here for a long time, but so I don't want to keep showing paintings and then they vanish for months and never seen again, or I finish them and move on to something else. So I'd sort of wanted to give you the resolution to this painting, and I think here, this very stroke that I'm doing there, that is when it is too much, and for me, I kill the painting, and obviously could all be corrected, but then I'm just like, no, I don't know, maybe you guys think I'm talking nonsense and it looks loads better. Let me know if you think that's the case. Perhaps I need my viewpoints readjusting. It's easy to, when you spend a lot of time on yourself painting, it's easy to get a skewed perception maybe on both your painting and what on earth's happening in the world. So let me know if you think I've gone off the rails. So it's a new week next week, and I hope it brings the best possible week ahead for you that you can have. And I think planet Earth's always been in challenging times while us humans have been here, and it's certainly the case now. I hope somehow there's some minor resolution to that, although I'm not going to hold my breath. But I do hope that you managed to find a little bit of peace and happiness this week. We're nearly at the end of this video now, as I sort of finish the cloudy smoke of the volcano, and that's where I leave this painting and decide to move on to the next ones. So I'll see you next time. Take care and bye bye.